This is Mac OS Ken.
India is making more iPhones. A New Jersey Apple store files for union. And smaller browsers surge in the DMA's wake. It is Thursday, the 11th of April, 2024. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken. Brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code MacOSKen at manscaped.com. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. Remember 2 or 3 years ago when some started writing in earnest about Apple shifting significant device production from China to India? And naysayers saying things like, "Are you crazy? That'll take years." Guess what? It's been years. And a piece from Bloomberg, highlighted by Mac Rumors, says Apple has shifted significant device production from China to India. According to the report, Apple now produces as much as 14% of its iPhones in India, indicating the company's accelerating efforts to diversify beyond the Middle Kingdom. Mac Rumor says the figure accounts for $14 billion of assembled iPhones in the country, or about 1 in 7 of Apple's flagship devices, a doubling of production compared to the last fiscal year. Models assembled in India include the iPhone 12 through the latest iPhone 15, excluding Premium, Pro, and Pro Max models. So I guess when Mac Rumor says Apple's flagship devices, they mean iPhone in general, not the top-of-the-line models. Still, that is stellar growth for Apple's Indian manufacturing efforts, with more on the way. The judge overseeing the U.S. Justice Department's antitrust case against Apple is no longer the judge overseeing the DOJ's case against Apple. Apple Insider says U.S. District Judge Michael Farbiers has stepped away from the case, saying a conflict of interest will not allow him to continue. While he didn't say what the conflict was, the piece says such issues usually deal with close association with members of the case via family or personal ties. The piece says U.S. District Judge Julian Niels is taking over the case. Apple Insider does not see the change changing much for participants. Both judges likely hold similar viewpoints in the report's estimation, since both were appointed by President Biden. Here is something we have not heard in a while. An Apple store in the States has petitioned to unionize. A piece from Bloomberg says the move by employees in the upscale town of Short Hills, New Jersey, marks the first such effort after a year-long lull. While talk was rampant a couple of years ago of several stores trying to unionize, only 5 have actually petitioned to do so. Of those, only 2 locations, one in Towson, Maryland, and one in Oklahoma City, have successfully done it. As for the new store, the piece says the mall-based location has 104 employees that would be part of the union if the effort moves forward. Represented by Communication Workers of America, the CWA issued a statement this week that had a member of the organizing committee saying, "We strongly believe forming a union is the best way to ensure all Apple workers receive the respect, pay, benefits, and working conditions we deserve. While Apple has responded to organizing by violating workers' rights at stores across the country, we hope Apple executives will recognize their opportunity to stay on the cutting edge by taking a different approach." So it looks like when you give people a ready and apparent choice, some of them take it. Ars Technica says smaller web browsers are gaining traction in the European Union after the Digital Markets Act started requiring designated gatekeepers like Google and Apple to make it easier to switch default web browsers on devices. According to the report, Reuters collected data from 6 companies confirming that When presented with a choice screen, many EU users will swap out of default browsers like Chrome or Safari. Now, there was a surprising assertion in the report. The piece had Reuters indicating that it is Safari that's taking the hit because there are more iPhones in the EU than there are Google-branded phones. True, but what about Android phones? If memory serves, they far outnumber iPhones in the European Union. Yeah, Android fragmentation may be working for Google and Chrome for now. According to Reuters, Google is currently showing browser choices on devices made by the company and said new devices made by other companies running Android operating system will also display a choice screen in the coming months. New devices. So that Android-powered Samsung phone made last year, not part of the DMA gatekeeper thing? As for who's benefiting, the piece says the browsers Aloha, Vivaldi, Opera, Ecosia, Brave, and DuckDuckGo have all reported increases in users since the DMA's implementation a little over a month ago. A seriously embarrassing, politically fraught mistake from Apple. iMore says the emoji menu in iOS 17.4.1 now shows a Palestinian flag emoji when users search for the word Jerusalem in some countries. Apple is calling the issue a bug. While the intricacies of code are a mysterious box I've not been interested in trying to open since I was about 12 years old, I thought a bug was a thing that happened. Well, I'm not saying somebody did this on purpose. I mean, certainly Apple would not have sanctioned it. At the same time, iMore says the BBC presenter who publicized the issue pointed to a non-exhaustive list of other capital cities that don't surface a flag in the emoji search field, let alone the wrong one. If you've not seen this issue, that's not really surprising. iMore had one commenter indicating that this was only happening on iPhones with the keyboard set to English UK, English Singapore, and English South Africa. Other keyboards, including English US, did not pop the emoji. Apple says the issue will be fixed, while the company has offered no timeline. iMore figures they'll probably fix this one pretty quick. More news in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, Manscaped. Man is a hairy beast, and Manscaped can help tame it. The hair, that is. From your face to your chest to other hairy parts of people, they've got the tools to help you get things under control. For the out-and-about parts, there's the Beard Hedger Pro Kit Plus Handyman Electric Face Shaver. For the parts fewer people see, there's the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. This 5th-generation trimmer from Manscaped features 2 interchangeable next-gen skin-safe blade heads. It's got a dual LED spotlight, it's waterproof, and it comes with a convenient case. Now on top of that, Manscaped is spending this month working on men's health across the board. April is National Testicular Cancer Awareness Month. Manscaped is getting word out and raising money. Not only are they donating $50,000 to the Testicular Cancer Society, they're helping you watch out for warning signs. For that, you can visit manscaped.com/TCS. Now back to you personally. For the parts of you that everyone sees or the parts of you that very few do, go to manscaped.com and use code MacOSKen for 20% off plus free shipping. That's 20% off plus free shipping with code MacOSKen, all caps, all one word, MacOSKen at manscaped.com. MANSCAPED. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code MacOSKen at manscaped.com. Nothing says premium news service like adding in stuff to distract people from the news. The New York Times did it when it bought Wordle. Apple News Plus did it when it added crosswords and mini crosswords. And now Apple News Plus is doing it again. It's unclear why it's only been spotted now, but a number of sites, including Mac Rumors, say the latest iOS 17.5 beta includes a game for Apple News Plus subscribers called Quartiles. The piece explains the game, saying Quartiles tasks players with combining tiles to form words and earn points. Each puzzle starts with a grid of 20 tiles, and words can be formed with 1 to 4 tiles. Each puzzle has 5 combos of 4-tile words, according to the report. Find all 5 of those quartiles, and the player gets extra points, with which I assume one can do nothing. But pleasure center, endorphins. Just like Apple News Plus, Mac Rumors says the game will also run on the iPad and the Mac. Public releases for iOS 17.5, iPadOS 17.5, and macOS 14.5 will likely hit next month, according to the report. We'll wrap the day with news of a couple of upcoming titles for Apple TV+, both of them land-based. For the grown-ups among us, you know who you are. Apple has issued a press release teasing the 6-episode dramedy Land of Women. Starring and executive produced by Eva Longoria, the piece says Land of Women stars Longoria as Gala, a New York empty nester whose life is turned upside down when her husband implicates the family in financial improprieties, and she is forced to flee the city alongside her aging mother and teenage daughter. To escape the dangerous criminals to whom Gala's now vanished husband is indebted, the 3 women hide in the same charming wine town in northern Spain that Gala's mother fled 50 years ago, vowing never to return. The women seek to start anew and hope their identities will remain unknown, but gossip in the small town quickly spreads, unraveling their deepest family secrets and truths. 2 episodes will hit Apple TV Plus on Wednesday, the 26th of June. They'll run 1 per week on following Wednesdays through the finale on the 24th of July. And finally today, news that is certain to excite some people. Apple TV Plus issued a press release Wednesday giving folks a look at the new kids and family series, Yo Gabba Gabbaland. Interestingly, the release says it is inspired by another TV show, the Emmy Award-nominated Yo Gabba Gabba. Thought that was just a coincidence. According to the release, Yo Gabba Gabbaland invites audiences to explore a magical world of endless possibilities and promise with friends both familiar and new in a reimagining that brings to life an expansive Yo Gabba Gabbaland. Filled with optimism and fun, kids and families are taught life lessons through song and dance that allow them to learn, laugh, and grow together. Stars of the original show will make the move to Apple TV Plus. They're bringing a slew of guests, including Reggie Watts, Sam Richardson, Gillian Jacobs, Diplo, Flea, Chelsea Peretti, and many more. Apple TV Plus goes to Yo Gabba Gabbaland on Friday, the 9th of August, and Apple, I beseech you, do Teletubbies. Please do Teletubbies. No, I have no kids in that age range. It didn't the first time Teletubbies were a thing either. Didn't stop me from watching and getting the munchies. Fraggles, Charlie Brown, Yo Gabba Gabba. Please do Teletubbies. macOS Can, brought to you by me and sponsored by Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code MacOSKen at manscaped.com. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.